of Think About It Thursday, where we give you guys a little something to think about that'll help your cats live longer, healthier, happier lives. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And together we are the two crazy cat ladies. Guys, today's episode is all about how often should I feed my cats? So we're not talking about how much, we've talked about that several times, but how often should I be feeding my cats? There's no one size fits all from our research. There's no one size fits all answer to this, but we do want to help you navigate to see what size fits your specific situation in your specific cat.
A tiny little sidebar there. I do want to say when it comes to especially adult cats and kittens. Kittens, for example, we're talking about the amount just briefly. Kittens will eat 1.5 up to 3 times as much as our adult cats. And I want to say, for those of you with little ones at home, for example, when we had our 2 last batches of kittens, we didn't feed them like kitten formula food.
We didn't have them ourselves.
No. Thank you for pointing that out.
Them.
Yeah. I'm glad you clarified that.
Just in case you thought that we might. Yeah.
But with our last 2 batches of babies, we fed them the exact same balanced raw diet that we feed to our older cats. We just understood that kittens will eat 1.5 to 3 times as much. So we fed them 3 to 4 times per day, depending on our schedule. And we let them eat as much as they wanted because they were growing kittens.
Yes. And you wanted the reason that we did that, and the reason that many people suggest, as well as us, that it is really good to feed your cats small meals throughout the day. It's because our cats do not have the size of a stomach like us, right? Our cat's size of the stomach is about the size of a ping pong ball. It's a small stomach and they have fast digestive tracts. So if we can feed them, especially when it comes to kittens, we know that they need a more caloric intake than our average adult sized cat. Then we need to spread those out and feed them several times throughout the day, right? So there you go for a growing kitten. There's your answer. We want to do as much as possible, as many small meals throughout the day. Now, most people will also, like I said, most people will also say every cat should be fed small meals throughout the day. Whereas there's this other group of people that have done research on circadian rhythm, right? And their approach is no, we want to feed them at dawn and at dusk because that's
Cats
more
are crepuscular.
Right.
Oh, my favorite word.
Yeah. Adrian's favorite word, crepuscular, because cats are crepuscular. So we want to feed them in the morning and at night. Is there a wrong or right? Well, let's listen to this. We did some research because all of these circadian rhythm studies are actually done on dogs and on people, right? So we found a research guide on cats and circadian rhythm. They actually did research on the daily food intake with cats and do they have a circadian rhythm. The studies were very interesting because it did show that when basically given self-selection, cats did tend to peak in the morning and the other time in the evening, supporting previous work demonstrating peaks at dusk and dawn and confirming their crepuscular nature of the species. Okay. However, the research that they cited in this specific research. Wow, lots of research work. In this specific study, said that it is reported that cats do not have circadian activity rhythms, which is very interesting, right? For those of us that are like always doing the research and looking into different things. However,
I love this.
It also says in the wild, the cat is an opportunistic, solitary hunter. Like many of its fellow felines, it catches numerous small prey per day to sustain its needs as a carnivore. So
I think what this is great, what this points out really is how adaptable our cats are. And we're going to get into really the most important thing to think about today in a minute. But I think that it really kind of points out the fact that our cats are opportunistic, solitary hunters. They're going to take food when they can find food, and bringing some routine to that can be very helpful.
Yes. However, go ahead. Did you want to do this?
No. I was going to say.
Yeah. So there's more research. There's more research here because the studies also show that the cats, that especially older cats, sickly cats, cats that might be dealing with an ailment, do benefit from an 8 to 10 hour fasting period. So that would mean, and this is why it's like no one size fits all, right? If you have a healthy cat, you have a healthy cat or a healthy kitten, and we want to feed them their entire caloric intake in small meals throughout the day. But if we have a cat that may be struggling with an ailment of some sort, giving them that fasting period helps the body rejuvenate, restore, and replace. So the body itself cannot recover from a specific ailment if it is trying to digest food. So if we're feeding all the time in small meals, then we're not allowing the body to do its work and rejuvenate, restore itself.
Well,
right?
and I think
repair.
What's great though is that most of us already provide our cats that fasting period, right? We're going to be sleeping from 6 to 10 hours. Wouldn't 10 hours be great for me? 6 to 10 hours a night where you do that evening meal and then that breakfast meal. So,
well, and that leads me to that actually leads me to the fact that many of us as cat parents don't actually pick up food at night and don't allow our cats a fasting period because we're doing something called free feeding. Guys, free feeding is, and all the studies show right here in Ohio State University, this was actually published in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association. The studies show that feeding our cats on a routine basis is the best for their overall health, not just health, but also mental health, which it all ties together. If you guys were with us this morning in our roundtable discussion, Dr. Katie Woodley talked about how everything is in sync together. And it's so important that, that we feed our cats on a routine. That means pick up that all day buffet. No longer are we just picking up food or are we just laying down food and going about our day. We want to give our cats a routine schedule. This above anything is the most important, right? Is making sure that we're doing it at the same time. Now, there's many different ways that we can do this. And we all have different schedules, right? Some of us work 9-to-5 jobs. Some of us work swing shift. Some of us work graveyard shift. Some of us don't work and we're home all day, but we have this project or we're volunteering here. We all have different schedules, and whatever your schedule is, you want to make sure that you are factoring in a schedule for your cats as well. If you are one of those long-term, you work 10 hours a day, 12-hour days. Let's do feeding in the morning and a feeding at night, right? And then maybe in the afternoon, you can do things like use little indoor hunting feeders. We like to do this in the afternoon with our freeze dried, but if you feed kibble, I hope you don't, but if you do feed kibble, you can also do it this way. So in the afternoon, your cats, if they are young adult cats and they are healthy cats and they don't need that fasting period during the day, we can hide their food. You can also do this for those of us that feed a raw diet or a wet food diet. You can do this with little indoor. You can make them yourself. You can even use little dishes, right, that you hide around the house so that when your cat is hungry, they will smell and hunt that, going through that kind of prey sequence, if you will, indoors. And still able to eat those small meals throughout the day while you're away.
And you get to enrich their solitary, opportunistic hunting instincts. And I think that's really important when we look, especially when we're dealing with rescues who may have food insecurities. A lot of people ask us, how do I keep them on? How do I keep a cat from eating another cat's food or whatever it may be? When we implement a routine for our cats, they're no longer worried about that resource not being available when they need it. So take some time to really think about your schedule and your cat's full day's caloric intake and when you can spread that out in a way that is going to be
most beneficial for them.
Yeah, and absolutely. A routine that you can stick with.
Yeah. So in conclusion, there's no one size fits all, but there is a one size for each one of your cats. And I know for those of us that have 6 cats, it can get a little frustrating, right? We've got younger cats, they need to eat more times a day. They're super healthy. We've got older cats that need a little bit more of a fasting period. Sometimes you have an older cat that's starting to lose weight. We need to add in another meal per day. So there's all of this that needs to come into play. But if we are paying attention to our kitties and we are giving them the love and affection that they need, then we will be able to add into that routine, figure out what routine. And once we have it in our routine, it becomes easy. It's just a normal thing that we do. So once we start to create a feeding schedule for each one of our cats individually as sole individuals, then we will help them be happier, healthier, and live a longer, happier life. So we love you guys. Come join us in about 20 minutes for our podcast on Facebook and YouTube. We will be back shortly. We love you guys so much.
Happy Thursday, you guys.
Think about it Thursday.